The banquet was supposed to be just another grand evening at Buckingham Palace. Glimmering chandeliers, a sea of diplomats, and the clinking of fine crystal filling the room. But what unfolded that night left the royal world spinning. Princess Anne, never one for drama, stood up in her signature understated style and dropped a revelation so huge the entire monarchy felt its impact. She wasn't just stepping back from royal duties, she was handing the torch to someone unexpected. Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Now, this wasn't some symbolic nod or ceremonial fluff, this was real. Anne, the rock of the royal family, the one who's been grinding nonstop for decades, chose to retire. And instead of leaving a vacuum, she filled it. Deliberately, with someone she trusted, someone who had just clawed her way back from a brutal health battle. Catherine wasn't just back from cancer, she was rising like a phoenix, and Anne knew it. People always saw Anne as unshakable. She's not flashy, never courted attention, and always chose substance over style. From grueling charity circuits to stoic hospital openings, Anne's calendar was legendary. The woman carried the monarchy on her back while others got the headlines. But age catches up, she's 74 now, and even titans have to rest. Still, nobody thought she'd actually stop. Not like this, not with a mic drop moment during a glittering state dinner. What made it more intense was the emotion in the room. Anne stood there in a sleek navy dress, her voice clear, steady, not a hint of wavering. The time has come, she said, pausing just long enough to let the silence weigh heavy, to let the next generation take the reins. Then she looked straight at Catherine. She has shown strength, grace, and an unwavering commitment to duty. Boom, the room went silent for a second before the applause kicked in. But behind the claps, people were whispering, "Catherine? Already?" See, Catherine's not just stepping into anyone's shoes. She's taking over from the most relentless royal worker in the family's history. Anne wasn't about appearances. She was about grind. Over 300 patronages, tireless travel, endless engagements. So when Anne picks you as her successor, that's not a compliment, that's a challenge. But here's the thing, Catherine's earned it. After disappearing from public life during her treatment, she came back stronger, sharper, and more sure of herself. At first, her appearances were rare, trooping the color, the Order of the Garter. But every move felt intentional. Every smile, every step carried purpose. And the public felt that shift. She wasn't just returning, she was evolving. And Anne saw it too. These two women had bonded over more than royal protocol. Behind the scenes, Anne had quietly become a mentor to Catherine. There were private visits, long talks at Anne's countryside estate, and shared stories only women in that rarefied world would understand, especially women who didn't seek the spotlight but had it follow them anyway. What made this moment hit so hard is that it wasn't about glamour or pomp, it was about legacy. Anne, the woman who once showed up to an event with a black eye from a horse accident like it was nothing, chose Catherine because she saw the same fire, the same resilience. Catherine, too, had stared down her own version of the battlefield and walked back into the public arena, not broken, but reborn. So as Anne passed that invisible baton, it wasn't just a polite royal gesture. It was a woman telling another, "You've got this. I believe in you." And that made the whole room lean in a little closer. Because this wasn't just history, it was a quiet revolution dressed in navy blue and wrapped in royal tradition. Catherine didn't flinch, not when Anne said her name, not when the camera zoomed in, and definitely not when every eye in the room silently asked, "Can she really take this on?" She just nodded with that signature poised smile, the kind that hides 100 thoughts and yet says everything. But inside, she knew exactly what this meant. This wasn't just another royal duty. This was her moment to lead. What made it powerful wasn't the glamour of the title or the setting. It was who she had become to earn it. Catherine had spent the better part of a year in recovery, facing a fight that stripped her to the bone. Chemo, rest, silence, days where even the most mundane tasks felt monumental. And yet, the comeback wasn't about fanfare. It was careful, thoughtful. She showed up when it mattered, and every move was intentional. Even her withdrawal from royal ascot had a reason. While royal watchers speculated and tabloids guessed, the truth was simple. She chose her health again. That alone told people she wasn't going to play by outdated royal rules. She was setting her own pace. And that, ironically, made her even more royal. There's strength in restraint, and Catherine showed she understood the weight of the job doesn't mean losing yourself in it. Behind palace gates, she'd been preparing, quietly, strategically. Meetings with Anne weren't just briefings. They were heart-to-hearts. Anne didn't sugarcoat anything. She told her the truth, that the public is demanding, the schedule is punishing, and the margin for error is razor thin. But she also shared something deeper, how purpose is what carries you when you're tired, that duty can be a burden but also a lifeline. And Catherine listened. She always listens. That emotional intelligence is part of what sets her apart. Where Anne moved with sharp military-like efficiency, Catherine brings softness without weakness. She doesn't just shake hands, she leans in. She doesn't recite lines, she connects. Whether it's talking with cancer survivors or kneeling beside a child at a community center, she makes people feel seen. And that's a powerful currency in a monarchy trying to stay relevant. Still, stepping into Anne's shoes is no small thing. The sheer number of charities, events, causes, it's a mountain. Anne wasn't just involved, she was present, sharp and deeply respected. But Catherine's not trying to copy her. That would be a mistake. Instead, she's doing what Anne did decades ago, reshaping the role to fit who she is. Where Anne focused on tradition and service, Catherine is blending that with emotional visibility and modern causes. Her first big move under this new mantle? The Royal Highland Show in Edinburgh. Not just a nod to Anne's rural roots, but a deliberate signal. Catherine's planning to launch a new health initiative tied to agricultural communities, bridging her focus on mental health in Anne's lifelong work with farming organizations. It's bold and it's smart. She's not just showing up, she's expanding the platform. Behind all of this is her family. George, Charlotte, and Louis are still at the center of her life. And that balance, being a hands-on mom while managing royal duties, is where her quiet strength shows. She's adopted Anne's calendar discipline, structuring engagements around school runs and family time. It's not about doing less, it's about doing it right. What the public is seeing now isn't just a princess resuming duties, it's a woman leading by example, carrying her own scars with grace, and stepping into power not because she wanted it, but because she's ready. Catherine's rise is rewriting the royal playbook, and everyone inside the palace knows it. She's not just ticking boxes or smiling for photos, she's shaping a new kind of monarchy, one that feels more real, more human, and at the heart of it is something the public responds to instantly: authenticity. Nothing about her feels rehearsed, even when the cameras are off. She's the same, present, thoughtful, and rooted in the things that matter. That authenticity is starting to ripple through the family. Prince William, long seen as a steady but cautious figure, has been leaning into her energy. Their public appearances have a new rhythm now. At Trooping the Color, they weren't just waving from the balcony, they were locked in step, exchanging quiet glances that said everything about their shared purpose. Insiders say Catherine's strength during her illness and her return has lit a fire under William. Not pressure, inspiration. King Charles feels it too. Watching his daughter-in-law step into the space left by Anne has reportedly been a source of reassurance for him, especially given his own health concerns. Their bond has deepened, not just as monarch and consort, but as two people who've stared down life-threatening diagnoses and come back more focused than ever. During the June balcony appearance, the moment Charles turned and smiled at Catherine wasn't staged. It was trust, pure and simple. Even Anne, now stepping back after decades in the trenches, has been quietly celebrating the transition. Sources close to her say she feels a sense of peace, not because she's walking away, but because she's leaving things in capable hands. She never wanted to be the face of change, just the engine behind it. And Catherine? She's the perfect blend of both. But the real challenge lies in what comes next. Catherine is now the key player in a shrinking royal lineup. With only a handful of working royals, the pressure to maintain visibility, relevance, and connection is intense. Every event she attends, every cause she champions carries more weight. There's no room for coasting, and yet she handles it with a kind of quiet momentum, like someone who's not chasing power, but knows exactly how to use it. Her next project is already drawing buzz. a joint initiative focused on expanding access to cancer care in rural communities, merging her personal experience with Anne's legacy in agricultural outreach. It's bold and personal, the kind of move that signals this new chapter won't just be ceremonial, it'll have teeth. At home, nothing's changed. She still does the school runs, still packs the lunches, still reads bedtime stories, but even there, the shift is being felt. George is watching his mother take on one of the most demanding roles in the monarchy and absorbing every bit of it. Charlotte, with her natural poise, is already showing signs of following that example. Louis, the youngest, remains her shadow, clinging to her hand at public events with unfiltered affection. She's not raising heirs, she's raising humans with a deep sense of service. Public opinion has shifted too. Once viewed as a supporting character in William's story, Catherine has fully stepped into her own spotlight. Not with noise, but with presence. Her cancer journey gave her vulnerability. Anne's endorsement gave her authority. And now, the public gives her something harder to earn than any title: genuine trust. What lies ahead for the monarchy is uncertain. The pressures of modern relevance, the skepticism of younger generations, and the global microscope are all very real. But with Catherine stepping forward, not just as a royal, but as a leader with heart, the monarchy doesn't just endure, it evolves. And for once, it doesn't feel like a relic, it feels alive. It feels alive.